You're welcome back to News Desk. Residents of Kokoso in the Bantama constituency of the Ashanti region say they have parked their cars to join commercial transport due to deplorable roads in the community. Others who are unable to afford four-wheel drives and other robust vehicles have switched from saloon cars. Commercial vehicles, on the other hand, have increased their prices, citing high cost of maintaining their vehicles due to the poor nature of roads. Nanayao Jima has more on this.
Kokoso is a community situated close to the 4th Infantry Battalion complex in Kumasi. It holds promise in terms of commerce, but bad roads have impeded expected gains that should boost the local economy. 6 months ago, the assembly member for the area, through some individuals, spent over 3,000 cedis to make the roads motorable. Dust pollution from the roads has not only affected residents here, but has collapsed businesses, as these residents recount. It has become unprofitable to work here. When you produce a white window frame, it does not attract customers due to the dust. I sometimes leave work early because the dust can become unbearable.
Because of
our vehicles are always breaking down. The roads are bad. A bridge meant to link Kokoso and Abrepo failed to see the light of day. The 4BN Boshain link would have reduced driving time, but sub-metro engineer for Bantama constituency, Peter Safo, says resources to undertake the project is a challenge.
32% are good ones, 68% they are bad roads, percentage-wise. Yeah, we know this will depend on the national budget. So normally what we do as a sub-metro engineer for the area, we'll prepare and do our bills and send it to our head office for approval. Maybe we have to get some funds from that place so that we'll do the roads and then the network. Past 4 years, we did almost 1 kilometer. That's if you know Bantama River area, we did one there, and also old that's race course area, we did down about 0.5 kilometers. In total length is 1.2 kilometers on that area.
This came to light during a familiarization tour by a member of parliament for Bantama, Daniel Ochem Abuaje. He tells Love News poor roads in the constituency will be factored into the $1 million per constituency budget.
Roads are very bad. Sanitation is an issue. People are dying because of dust. You know, in these areas, Kokoso area and what do you call it, Atwato area, when somebody is even delivering, if the woman is in labor, it's difficult to even find a car in the evening because nobody comes here. You know, as you can see, people dress in white, as you can see, going, and they walk the streets and they have to cover their legs with polythene bags until they get to a place where they can have a tire road or something like that. So we are in Bantama constituency, but this is how everything looks, you know, and it's very bad. So we are appealing to the government, you know, to help us, you know, make sure we can take care of our problem. All the people that you see around me here are all honorable members in the assembly, you know, there was assembly members, and so what you see is that they invited me to come and join them to go and see the problem. What it means is that as if the $1 million per constituency should come, we should know what we're going to do with it. If it's a matter of roads, or if it's a matter of building some factory for the people or business development, as has been enlisted in the budget statement.
Well, the Ghana Meteorological Agency obviously plays a very important role in the aviation industry. It is responsible for providing useful information for the general safety of passengers and aircraft. While on the occasion of World Meteorological Day, on the theme Understanding Clouds, Joy News' Maxwell Agbagba has been interacting with the Director of Research at the Ghana Meteorological Agency, Charles York, on the danger some clouds pose to aircraft. He's also talked to him about the inadequate logistics hampering their work and how institutions like the aviation industry have so much confidence in their predictions, contrary to the views held by a section of the public.
Now tell us about the danger cloud. I mean, we know about, air turbulence when you're up there in the sky. skies sometimes, and we hear they are caused by some of the clouds.
Yes.
Tell us about the danger clouds and how you provide useful information to the aviation industry, because a lot of people feel disconnected, I mean, we are talking about clouds, mentioning nimbus, all these big words.
Yeah.
Can you connect us to, the clouds?
Aviation industry depends so much on weather information that is given to them. And normally with the formation of cumulonimbus cloud, for example, if an aircraft is flying from Kotoka to maybe Heathrow Airport, now they normally give alternate.
Well, we apologize for the bad sound quality, but Maxwell Agbagba, who spent the early hours of today at the Ghana Meteo Agency, is here on World Meteo Day, and we're understanding clouds. How much more of an understanding of the clouds that we have up in the skies do you have now after your visit, Maxwell?
Well, I think back at school when we're studying, the types of clouds, I honestly just thought that, okay, it's just one of those things. But after a trip to the Ghana Meteorological Agency, I think I now have a better understanding of, of clouds. In fact, today when I was having interactions with the director of research, he was telling me that they really do not have any instruments that they use in measuring or they use in detecting whether there's going to be rain from the clouds.
Okay.
But what they do is the use of, they basically observe, come out and then observe the clouds, in the
Oh, so just like
atmosphere.
ordinary people would do.
Just like what ordinary people would do. In fact, they showed me a book, the International Cloud Atlas.
Okay.
And in that atlas, you have different pictures of different clouds. And it tells you exactly what is going to happen if you see that type of cloud, in the atmosphere. So he took me through, the cirrus clouds. Very big names.
Okay.
I don't want to stress myself, to go there. But importantly, we're also talking about the contribution of the Meteo Agency to the aviation industry. So what role, what connection do they have at all? It tells me that they provide very useful information to the aviation industry, especially for them. Every morning they would have to provide, information on the type of clouds up there in the skies and what pilots should look out for. In fact, he mentioned one of the clouds, the NB clouds. He tells me that it is so dangerous. So there are times that when they spot those clouds up there in the sky, they would have to advise pilots to divert their planes to
Did you guys talk about the color of this NB cloud?
Well, he told me that it's gigantic, it's huge. He described them to me, but it was difficult trying to, imagine because we didn't have any like that.
Because that's what I'm also trying to do.
Actually,
do we look up at any point in time and see,
exactly.
that giant cloud up there?
Yeah. But the good thing is that, they provide timely information to the aviation industry. So if that information is relayed to, let's say, Kotoka International Airport, they know the information to give the pilot and tell them, look out for this cloud, watch out for this cloud, don't use this direction, and then they would, avoid it. He says there are times that some of these clouds, you experience turbulence up there, but there are times that you can experience very terrible turbulence up there, and because of some of these clouds. And some of them.
So what is it about the clouds specifically that makes it dangerous?
Well, he mentioned something that has to do with some gas that comes out of it.
Okay.
And, that comes out from, the cloud itself. And sometimes the makeup of its own makeup and how huge it is. So if you push the plane in there, sometimes it can be very, very, dangerous. He spoke to me also about, how sometimes it's difficult to spot that particular cloud. So you have to do a meticulous job by, making sure that you're providing the right information to the public. And then another interesting thing that he mentioned to me was the fact that, confidence in them, that section of the public, is winning. I put it to him.
This issue comes up every year.
Yeah. So I put it to him and I asked him, how do you feel about this? He says, for him, they are, very confident in what they do. And then a lot of the industry players have so much confidence in them, and then they trust their predictions. It's rather unfortunate that when you come to, the public, it's a different ballgame altogether. There's sometimes that they come out with predictions and tell you that it's going to rain, and some people just totally neglect what they say because they do not have confidence, or because there are many times that they've given predictions and that prediction didn't go right. So people have lost confidence in them. He says the most important thing for them is that the industry players have so much belief in them and they're happy with what they are doing. Another thing that we talked about was the issue of logistics and how it is hampering, their work. Their inadequate logistics there is hampering their work. He tells me that there are times that even for some calibrations that they have to do, they have to go to certain African countries to get those calibrations. And he tells me that they are working so that they can get the needed funds, so they can acquire the necessary logistics, so that they'll be able to give us, timely information and then very accurate, weather, reports or weather forecasts.
So if I could just put the spotlight on you, do you look out for the weather even, before you get out every day?
Well, personally, I never did until I got to the
University
of Ghana.
Okay. I thought you were going to say you never did until your visit this morning. But the point is, sometimes they do get some of these predictions wrong.
Yeah.
And they agree.
Yeah, they agree.
Why did he explain why it goes wrong sometimes?
Well, he tried an explanation. He says, there are sometimes some extraneous, variables come into play when they are observing the clouds, for instance. So sometimes you go out there and then you spot a cloud that you think that it's a rain-bearing, cloud, but later it turns out to be something, something different. Because there are times when I even went through the international, cloud atlas, you see the pictures, and the clouds look so familiar. But as somebody who is going to give the weather forecast, you have to be able to make out, the cloud that's bearing the rain, and be able to tell that it's going to be accompanied by this cloud. There'll be thunderstorms, there'll be lightning. Be able to give the necessary information on all of that. And sometimes these extraneous variables affect their work, and sometimes would not make their predictions go right. But he's excited that the industry players, believe.
And it looks like that's what they care about most, because they are the ones who pay for their services anyway. But how confident was he on resolving those challenges that they've always had?
Well, he says they're in touch with the stakeholders, they're in touch with government, and they're hoping that, for those logistics that he mentioned, sometimes it has to do with, vehicles to go to the field. Sometimes there are certain equipment, that they need that they do not have. So they are, pleading and calling on government to provide those equipment, for them, so that they'll be able to, do their work, properly.
Okay, can we do a last one before you go? What's the weather patterns today? That's it.
I think you just put
Maxwell, thank you very much. That's Maxwell Agboba on his visit to the Ghana Meteo office here in Accra. We still have business and sports ahead on News Desk. But a consultant cardiologist with the Komfo Teaching Hospital is warning of greater risk of cardiovascular diseases amongst Ghanaians, especially middle-aged women. Dr. Isaac Kofiusu says unhealthy lifestyles and eating habits are exposing more people to alarming heart-related diseases. He tells Insura News heart conditions stops cases recorded at the Accident and Emergency Center of the Komfo Teaching Hospital. Ohime Interior has the rest of the story.
A Komfo Teaching Hospital and Guangdong General Hospital research has revealed Ghana has a double disease burden, cardiovascular and infectious diseases. The research examined 1,000 people in 4 regions. Doctor also says the findings show a worrying trend of high cardiovascular cases recorded in hospitals, especially in women.
Even in the north, many young women and middle-aged women were found to have blocks in their arteries, otherwise known as atherosclerosis, which is an evidence of cardiovascular disease.
He warns Ghanaians to pay more attention to what they eat and how to keep the body healthy.
Cardiovascular disease doesn't just come like that. Those who develop it have what we describe as the risk factors for cardiovascular disease. And research has shown that cardiovascular diseases are among diseases that can be prevented. One of the reasons why we are seeing more and more of cardiovascular diseases, among Ghanaian population is that we've changed the way we eat. We call that nutritional transition. There has been nutritional transition, over the years, and therefore education should go on for people to eat healthy, diets and do regular physical exercise.
Leader of the Chinese team and a cardiologist, Professor Lin Chongjin, announced plans to establish a cardiovascular center at SCARTS.
We hope when here built up the cardiac center in Guangdong, there are the Guangdong Cardiovascular Institute in Guangzhou. So I think two institutes can do the more cooperation in the future.
The Chinese team has donated medical equipment worth over $15,000 to the Konfanoche Teaching Hospital. From Kumasi for Joy News, Meteorology reports.
We've got business ahead, and if you're a small business owner, we probably might have something that will help you out. Stay with us. Emmanuel Abuaji is up next with business.